Rosanna Pansino accused MrBeast of editing his video of the Creator Games hide-and-seek challenge so that it made it look like she did worse than she actually did. She then posted the DMs of what she and MrBeast said when MrBeast reached out to her about the situation. At the same time, she went on a podcast spree talking about it and criticizing MrBeast before finally removing everything and apologizing to MrBeast publicly on Twitter for bringing up the entire situation. So we're going to go over the entire situation from start to finish, beginning with the initial tweet. But just in case you don't know who Rosanna is, she is a huge creator, 14.5 million subscribers, almost 5 million on Instagram, and then around 1 million on Twitter, and then about 5 million on TikTok as well. And this is what she said in her initial tweet. I have been allowing others to treat me poorly in private for many years, and I'm fed up. I'm going to start standing up for myself and finding my voice. The title, MrBeast lied and edited me out of the top 3 in Creator Games 3. I had participated in Creator Games 1 and 2 and was excited to be a part of the YouTuber Creator Games 3 hide and seek at SoFi Stadium. After filming had wrapped, I truly couldn't believe how well I did at the competition, and I was proud of what I had achieved. I had 3rd place. When the video was released, I was shocked, disappointed, and felt hurt. MrBeast, Jimmy, had edited the video to make it look like I performed worse than I did. This was extra upsetting because I genuinely believed him when he said that his videos were authentic and real. He edited the video to look like the final 3 people were Lorray, Logan Paul, and Zach King. The final 3 people were actually Zach, Quackity, and myself. For the entire duration of filming, we all wore earpieces that connected to walkie-talkies. They would announce in their ears when someone had been found or when we had to move hiding spots. If we didn't move, you were immediately disqualified. While I was still hiding, they announced that they had found Logan Paul. I couldn't believe I outlasted him. He is a fierce competitor. It was genuinely getting really late. We filmed for over 24 hours straight, and they eventually offered me money to come out of hiding and quit. I declined. I had been counting the eliminations and was currently in 4th place, with Lorray, Quackity, Zach, and myself still remaining. Jimmy asked us to move hiding spots again to the side of the stadium with the mannequins. It was at this time I was found in transition moving to my next hiding spot. When Jimmy found me, he brought me to the field to be with the others that had also been found. I thought I had placed 4th. However, Lorray had fallen asleep and hadn't moved in a long time, so he was disqualified. This meant I got 3rd place. When I arrived at the field, I saw Matt, Pat, and Logan were there because they were seekers now. Jimmy said that he was going to look for Zach and asked if anyone wanted to join him. I offered to help, but he said he wanted to take Logan instead, so I hung back and started looking for Zach in a different direction with Matt, Pat. I placed 3rd, Quackity placed 2nd, and Zach placed 1st. This is what actually happened, despite Jiminy editing out the only female in the top 3. I was proud of what I had achieved. I followed the rules of the game, gave it my all, had fun, and never gave up. They can't take that away from me. Now, a very important thing to do when looking into any claims online is to trust but verify. So I trust what Rosanna has said, but I am going to verify it by checking the video for myself. And this is what happens. So this is showing the top 5 that are left. There's MrBeast, someone up there, I'm not sure. Zach, Quackity, Rosanna, and Logan Paul.
This is where things get serious.
We're having to move floors.
And he's just made them move floors to a different spot because they're getting too hard to find. This is showing everybody that's left.
Dude, they gotta be moving.
That's Quackity running and hiding.
Wait, who's that? Wait, point the camera. Who is that? Oh no.
And that right there is Rosanna getting found. This is the important part. Boom. So what you can see right there, let me just jump back a couple frames here. So that's a couple of people getting eliminated, including Rosanna, who just got eliminated right now. And it is depicting her as if she got eliminated in 5th place. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 people ahead of her, which means she just got eliminated at 5th place, with Zach, Quackity, Logan Paul, and Lorray still active in the game, even though she has claimed at this point that Logan has already been eliminated, which would have made her 4th place, and then Lorray is asleep, so he's automatically eliminated, which puts her in 3rd. Now, after the situation had blown up and got pretty big on Twitter, which I think was her intention, as you can see, not only on Twitter, but also lots of people are talking about support for Rosanna and Quackity, support for Ro and Quackity, Zach King, question mark, blah, 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 just here for Rosanna in the comments, and so on and so forth. After this had blown up, MrBeast actually reached out to her in Twitter DMs, as he tends to do whenever he gets into any kind of a controversy, and he says, starts out, what's your phone number? I'd love to call and see if we can get this figured out. So then she responds with, hey Jimmy, my intention of speaking up is not to be malicious or create drama, and we are going to talk about my personal thoughts at the end of this video. I was really hurt by the editing decision you made. Editing me out of the top 3 and making me look like I performed worse than I did felt awful. Quackity was also edited out of the top 3, and he also talked about it. I have stayed silent for so long, and it's causing me mental stress and anguish. It's not mentally healthy for me to have someone make me look worse than I am to millions of people. I would never do that to a fellow creator. The conversation then continues. Obviously, I wasn't trying to make you look bad. Just give me a time. Boop. Just give me a time, we can chat. I'm not mad or anything, I just want to help. She then follows up and says, why did you lie? Why did you say in the video that you found Logan literally 1 minute before Zach? Which is actually true. I didn't show that part, but that is something that I rewatched the video and verified actually happened. I outlasted Logan and was proud of what I had accomplished. It actually built some confidence in myself that wasn't there before. And he said, IDK, been a while, let's call and figure it out. She then responds and says, I'll give you some time to look into it and remember, then we can discuss. I'm more than happy to review all of the raw footage, which would be insane to do because there's probably thousands of hours of that, to help show the timeline of events. Feel free to send it over to my team, let me know. And she even in the initial part of where she leaked the DMs said, if he can say it to me on the phone, he can say it in writing. When I asked him to send over the raw footage to review the timeline, he went radio silent. Mr. Beast kept pressing me to get on the phone and refused to answer any of my questions in writing. Now, here it's important to note that Mr. Beast kind of considers himself the good guy of YouTube, and whenever he has drama, he tends to sort it out by talking in person. If you think of the Jacksepticeye drama where Jacksepticeye said that Mr. Beast ruined YouTube, they settled that over a phone call between Jacksepticeye and Mr. Beast. And frankly, Mr. Beast doesn't really enjoy being in beef or drama. He wants to be known as the guy that makes the best videos on YouTube, fastest growing, huge YouTube empire of like 205 million subscribers right now. He doesn't want to be known as the guy that gets caught up in beef because he doesn't need that. He's got so much more stuff he wants to be known for. Now, at the same time that this is all happening, before Mr. Beast responds, but after it's blown up on Twitter, Rosanna starts going on podcasts. By the way, if I call her Rosina, I'm sorry, I just got her name confused and I just get them back and forth. But she starts going on podcasts and talking about it, including this one that she goes on with Trisha Paytas, and the irony should not be lost on anyone that she's calling Mr. Beast a bad creator while talking to Trisha Paytas, but we're not going to worry about that for now. That's another video entirely. And this is what she said is on the podcast.
He really gives away all this money.
She's talking about how real all of his videos are.
It wasn't real. I was top 3, and he edited it to be all men. It was...
I just can't, I don't fathom it. I don't understand why.
I don't understand why.
The
all
story,
I know is that it felt awful.
And it's...
So the points that she consistently is making across the podcasts and the tweets are that it felt awful for her to be edited out, and it was a big deal because of the negative effect that it had on her mental health, and also it's a big deal because it proves that Mr. Beast fixes videos. Those are the main things that she's going after him about, and she also threw some stuff in there about gender, how she was the only female and was edited out. I don't think that's as important so much as it has to do with audience size. Swapping out her for Logan, who has a much larger audience, that could just be chalked up to a creative decision, but in any instance, her big things are the negative mental health, how bad it felt to be edited out, and also he fakes his videos, obviously, because it happened to her. However, very suddenly, as all of this was reaching its height, because Mr. Beast had responded, she suddenly deleted everything and posted this tweet, and even pinned it to her profile. I would like to apologize to Mr. Beast. I should have expressed my feelings privately and handled things differently. I'll be removing all of the posts where I talk about Creator Games and Jimmy. I will be honest in that the thousands of death threats I've received today are a contributing factor, but I do also sincerely hear the feedback from so many of you. And this is because a lot of even her genuine fans reached out in good faith, saying that this was not the way in order to address this situation, or saying it wasn't a big deal. And I believe she hopefully positively took in that feedback and took it to heart. Now, very obviously, the getting death threats is disgusting and never justified to send anyone death threats for any reason at all. So honestly, I am not surprised that she ended up deleting everything. If her mental health is already not in a great place, to then receive a bunch of death threats from fans of a much larger, more popular creator, it probably feels absolutely awful. And I would probably delete all of my tweets if I started receiving death threats as well. I think the most important thing I want to say here is that no matter the situation, death threats are never acceptable or justified. And before I say anything else about my personal opinion on the situation, I think it is worth criticizing the fact that Mr. Beast misrepresented what happened in his video. I don't think it's worth criticizing or blowing up in the way that she did, but this is a legitimate concern that people should have and talk about when watching these videos, which are supposed to be real and authentic, like she said, and then it turns out in at least this instance and possibly others that they actually weren't. That is worth discussing, being upset about, and demanding that he address. But I don't think the way that she is addressing it is the way to do it. In fact, I think kind of her entire portrayal of the situation is really dumb. And I don't say that lightly. In her address at the very end, she says, I followed the rules of the game, gave it my all, had fun, and never gave up. They can't take that away from me. But you weren't in the Olympics. You were playing a game that is, at least in large part, entirely luck, depending on which way the seeker goes or where the seeker chooses to look. You didn't really accomplish and never give up in a game where you mostly just pick a spot to be in and stay there for like 24 hours. And then in her DM responses, she says this, I was really hurt by the editing decisions you made. Editing me out of the top 3 and making me look worse, look like I performed worse than I did felt awful. I have stayed silent for so long it's causing me mental stress and anguish. It's not mentally healthy for me to have someone make me look worse than I am to millions of people. The overreaction here is kind of crazy because nobody thought you looked bad or worse when they watched the video. It really wasn't that deep. And if something as inconsequential as a game of hide and seek is making you feel mental anguish, then I definitely don't want to downplay that, but it also does become your responsibility to deal with that in a healthy way. And this is not that. But her portrayal of this being like a huge situation when it's really not also continues on to this message. Why did you lie? Why did you say that in the video you found Logan Paul literally 1 minute before Zach? And again, I want to emphasize that part is true. I outlasted Logan and was proud of what I had accomplished. It actually built some confidence in me that wasn't there before. Outlasting someone in a game of hide and seek is frankly a dumb thing to be proud of. If something as insignificant as this built confidence that wasn't there before when you're a creator with an audience in the 20 millions, then that's entirely a different issue. You can't pin that on Mr. Beast or anyone else as this is your fault that I've lost self-esteem when I've been rich and famous for a decade. This is the kind of situation that you talk about on podcasts or maybe mention on stream when you're chatting with people or bring it up as a story to tell in some other situation. But to try and build this huge, dramatic, mental health destroying, mental health anguish causing narrative when you placed in 3rd place instead of 5th is kind of wild, especially when neither place would have made money and no one thought better or worse of you for having placed in 5th than you would have in 3rd. Like, yeah, it sucks, but it's really not this deep. Now, should we be put off and critical of the fact that Mr. Beast fabricated the end of the video? Absolutely we should. That is worth discussing and talking about. But is this the way to do it? Absolutely not. Thanks for watching.